Kind of lonesome back here.
A little help here.
Excuse me. Woo!
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the SaveState. My name is Landon, this is Adam, and this is Nick, and these guys are from Imperius Arcs, a YouTube channel that's all about comic books. Go check out their channel, it's awesome. Like and subscribe and show these guys some support. If you are here, this is going to be an episode all about spoiling Deadpool. If you haven't seen the movie, click this annotation here and go over to their channel and watch our spoiler-free review. It's awesome, no spoilers in that, and then come back here after you've seen the movie and just let us ruin everything for you, because it's gonna be a good time.
This is a different kind of superhero story.
I wanna talk to you guys about Deadpool. What did you guys overall think about it? It's gonna be a little bit of rehash from our spoiler-free review, but I want your gut reactions from this movie. Nick, what'd you think?
It was a good, fun movie. I mean, I enjoyed it watching it. It was what it was. You know, I knew it was probably going to be vulgar. I knew it was going to be super violent. Kind of what I didn't expect, though, was it was an action-packed romantic comedy. I mean, ultimately, that was kind of my thought about it, which I wasn't really expecting. But overall, I thought there were some problems with it. I thought there was some stuff that I would have liked to have seen as a comic Deadpool fan.
Sure.
But it was enjoyable.
Yeah. What about you, Adam?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a fun watch. Definitely violent, vulgar. I've never seen a movie that depicts the passage of time by amount of times they have sex. That was interesting. Like, it was like
yeah, that's true.
Each holiday lines up with this sex event for them.
What was your favorite sex holiday?
My favorite sex holiday?
I
don't know. Which
I'm
one?
asking the hard-hitting questions here, guys.
I thought it was super gross. At first, I couldn't figure out what it was, but I think the Thanksgiving one is whenever she shoved a bunch of mashed potatoes in his face.
Yes.
She had like what was that, like
cranberry sauce
all her face, because that really confused me at first. I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
And then she just like rams mashed potatoes into his mouth. That was my favorite one too.
The Christmas sweater with his butt cheeks hanging out the back, though.
Yeah,
That's something else.
Oh man. Okay, so you enjoyed it, but also felt like it had some problems.
It's definitely, they did okay representing the Deadpool character, but the overall movie just felt lacking from the best, like what they could have done with the best Deadpool stories in it. It felt more of like probably some of the more recent stuff where it's very top level humor, doesn't really dive into well written. I mean, like you mentioned in the last video, like one-liners and stuff. It's definitely a movie of one-liners. Yeah. But it just doesn't. The comedy it's like a Looney Tunes movie. You know, it's the ha-ha part is because somebody splatted against the sign, which is funny, but they could always do more.
Yeah.
And I think that they did a good job of representing Deadpool that the internet has made Deadpool to be.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, I mean, it makes sense that they would do that. I mean, arguably he is Marvel's most popular comic book character right now.
Sure.
Genuinely. And
especially if you look at the cons and stuff.
If you look at the comic cons, if you look at the comic books themselves, I think Deadpool is currently involved in 4 titles where he is a part of the main core of those books. And then they do all these variant covers where he's all over them. And so
Too much Deadpool.
So I mean, I understand why they would put this internet Deadpool in the movie. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. The video game Deadpool. This is very much the video game Deadpool.
Yeah.
Which, if you check out one of our videos, why is Deadpool an R-rated character?
Which we can link right here.
Check it out. We're under the belief that the Deadpool of the comics is not actually an R-rated character. So it was very interesting to see that, and there were some things that I would have liked to have seen the directions the movie go that it didn't actually go.
So for me, being I'm much more of a DC guy. I really don't read much Marvel stuff. I know kind of the outskirts of the Deadpool story. I do enjoy the Deadpool character, but a lot of that comes from the internet. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie from start to finish. I felt like all of the jokes landed. I felt like from the opening cinematic, the intro to it, like it immediately set the tone with what you're going to get out of this. Like completely breaking the fourth wall, making fun of everybody that made this thing. It's like directed by an overpaid tool and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought that stuff was hilarious all the way through post credits. I mean, it was with making fun of Ferris Bueller, breaking the fourth wall in the middle of the movie, breaking the fourth wall inside of breaking the fourth wall. That's like 16 walls. That stuff. Like I thought all of that landed. For me, to go with what you're talking about, how this is more of the internet character of Deadpool rather than the comic book character of Deadpool, I'm totally okay with that, and I'm with you in that it makes sense. And for me, when you take characters to the cinematic universe, you're going to have to take some liberties, of course, with it in the same way. So like with the Nolan trilogy of Batman, that's hyper humanizing Batman. In the comic books, would Batman ever really quit being Batman just for love? Hell no. Like that's not really, unless you're reading some weird offshoot storyline, that's never going to happen. But in the cinematic universe, that totally makes sense.
And we understand that. Like we have no beef with this movie in the sense that of what it was. Like we understand that going in. The thing that, and especially with the Negasonic
Teenage Warhead.
Okay. Yeah. That character also not the one in the comic book.
Right.
And so the only thing that I think that what's going to happen is people are going to go see this movie and be like, oh, he is so cool. So they're going to get on something like Marvel Unlimited and, oh, I want to read Deadpool from the beginning. And they're going to go back to his first appearance in New Mutants or his first couple mini runs. And they're going to be like, what am I reading? He doesn't kill people and he's not crazy. And, I think that's an issue that I have.
Do you think that's going to be an issue for you recommending this? Is that going to be only an issue that comic book fans are going to have? Is that really an issue that hurts this film?
I don't think it hurts the film. No. I mean, the film, like any of the franchises here, if it's in the movie, it's kind of a standalone. Mm-hmm. I mean, taking Watchmen as a prime example, it doesn't follow exactly what happens in the book, although it's it outlines it all right, and people can feel how they feel about that, the ending on that. But the movie itself is standalone and it's great. Yeah. And so in this case, it's kind of like that. The Deadpool movie is now the Deadpool movie, like the video game is the Deadpool video game. They're all separate universes. They can take that as it is, and so the movie is a fine movie, but doesn't fully accurately represent what Deadpool comic books look like. Yeah. So people need to know that and I would differentiate that.
Sorry, and I mean, I see that a lot with Harry Potter. Okay, Harry Potter. I view Harry Potter movies and Harry Potter books as two different things,
absolutely,
and I'm okay with that. And I think that that's what these comic book movies need to. Mm-hmm. Comic book fans need to start doing that with these comic book movies, because the number one thing that you hear as soon as a movie's over is like, "That's what happened to the comic book," or "The comic book's better." And like, well, it's a different thing. I will say this. I think this was the biggest thing that I didn't like as a Deadpool fan was the fact that Deadpool was needed or wanted by the X-Men. Okay, like that seemed to be a theme throughout the Colossus.
Whether or not he's wanted by the X-Men or if he's wanted by the big Boy Scout that is Colossus.
Okay, could be that. But Colossus had presented it, and it seemed that there had been this dialogue before of, "Hey, Deadpool, quit your killing ways and join the X-Men." Okay. In the comic, Deadpool is never one that is desired to be a part of a team. He always has this desire to be a part of the team, desire to be wanted, and no one wants him.
Right.
And
Great Lakes Avengers and the X-Men.
And even the Great Lakes Avengers, who are a crap team.
They're Z-lists.
Right.
Except for Squirrel Girl.
Well, sure. To be a part of that. And then the other thing is he doesn't get the happy ending. Like, he is a character that doesn't get the happy ending. Adam and I are both under the impression that the reason that Deadpool is the way that he is because he is severely depressed because...
Yeah, it's that comedian syndrome where the funny comes from the depression.
Right. He looks bad. He has been through all this crap. He's had this awful life. He can't die. And so... he's just depressed, so like Adam and I were talking in Daniel Way's run, he goes and he becomes a pirate and buys a pirate boat. Yeah. Because
he couldn't, like, he had just basically tried to get Bullseye to kill him any way necessary, and then nothing, like, he can't die, and he's so frustrated by it, he just goes, shoot, whatever, blows his brains out, and the next issue he buys a pirate ship because he's run out of things to do.
Yeah. I would have much rather have seen how at the end of the movie, big spoiler here, whenever he kills Ajax, Colossus freaks out and says, "You will never be a part of us. We will never accept you because of what you just did." Walks off. And then whenever the girlfriend, whatever her name is, whenever she pulls off his mask and then pulls off the staple Wolverine mask, she freaks out and runs away.
Yeah.
Like that's the character that I would have much rather
That would-
seen, that I think that fits more with who he is as a character.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like they had to do some of that stuff. Yeah, I agree. I felt like Colossus was letting him off far too easy during the entire thing. Like he's fighting alongside Deadpool, leading up to that big epic battle, while Deadpool's just annihilating everybody, and Colossus is just getting his shit kicked. You know,
Yeah, what's that about?
I was kind of like, wow, dude, like you can't do better than that. I mean, eventually he made up for it, but he was kind of getting destroyed there for a while. But he was letting Deadpool off exceptionally easy through that, and I did feel like that was a little odd. But to the ending where he does get the girl, and it's kind of a happy ending, and like yeah, that might be a difference from the comic book storylines, but I feel like that was them setting this up to. This might be the only Deadpool movie we get. This might not get enough funds or might not get enough support that this is it, we're gonna wrap it up. No more Deadpool, even though past the credits he's like, hey, I'm hoping that there can be another Deadpool. Let's get Cable in here, let's do all this stuff. That would be awesome. It might not happen. It just depends on the budget and if this turns out, because it's still a Fox movie and let's be real, it might not happen. So I don't know, what do you guys think of that?
I think it's there's definitely gonna be. I mean, the sequel's being written. I'm assuming it'll go to production because
Yeah.
As of today, opening weekend is supposed to push over $100 million, which is redonkulous for a February release. So, they are going to go with it. And
But as they were writing it and scripting it,
right,
you don't know.
Right,
You can't
exactly.
bank on that.
And another thing, they are priming this up. Hugh Jackman says, I'm doing one more Wolverine movie. Now we remove Wolverine and we insert Deadpool. I mean, every substantial X-Men movie minus First Class, and even First Class, he had a little cameo.
Yeah.
Wolverine
awesome
has been the center figure.
Yeah.
And that is really what's pushed it. Now I don't know how they're going to get the timeline working, because Apocalypse, I guess, is set in the 80s and this is set in now, all of that. But I'm just saying, now we insert Wade into where Logan was.
Right. Which I'm fine with that.
Oh,
You guys- I think it'll be because that'll add, like, Wolverine was more like your straight man comedy. This is going to be like your ridiculous comedy in all these movies. I do have one other question for you guys and get your opinion on some of this stuff. The Stan Lee cameo in this movie. Thoughts on that? Because this really is the first Stan Lee cameo that you can't actually describe to, say, a young child. Like, hey, here's what Stan Lee was doing in this movie.
I thought it was. I mean, that was very, very hilarious to put. I mean, that's to put a 93-year-old man in a strip club.
It's amazing.
Announcing the next stripper to come out as the DJ is just
so good.
It's very funny.
And they started to lead up to that when he was playing Hugh Hefner in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I always find it really. I guess when I see old people, I don't think that they're like okay with that. Like, I know Betty White has done some pretty raunchy stuff in like her 90s, and now Stanley doing this. I don't know.
Well, have you ever? There's that like classic image of Stanley laying on the couch naked, covered only by a comic book. Like this.
I haven't seen that.
Really?
No.
This isn't his first dive into more raunchy things.
Well,
for
no,
sure.
right, and it's probably not a. It's probably just a, oh, you're old. Like, why are you supporting this? Like that kind of mentality. I mean, that was genuinely like shock and funny value. Probably the top of the movie. Like, just from like a shock funny value, because I'm not a big proponent of like raunchy comedy. Like, I don't care for saying the F word just for the sake of saying the F word. And that he was in there, it was funny. And he was just announcing it was just, him talking in that situation that was funny.
Yeah.
Well, so to kind of wrap this thing up, we spoiled a handful of things, but what did you guys do? You recommend this movie at this point? Would you recommend this? And if you do, like, is that a blanket recommendation or is that with some caveats? Nick, let's start with you.
I know what you're getting into. It is what it is. It's an R-rated, raunchy, violent comedy. So if you're okay with that stuff, yeah, I mean, sure, do it. But it is an R-rated movie. It's a hard R-rated for a reason.
What about you, Adam?
Yeah, I would recommend it. I mean, like I've mentioned before, I watch all the superhero movies, even the bad ones, repeatedly. So I would recommend it. It's fun, it's enjoyable, but just know that it is different than the comics, like all movies can and should be a little bit. But this one's so much so that if you were to go ahead and decide to read the comics, if you haven't already, he is going to be different. He may seem more depressed in some of the better comics if you get recommendations from friends to read Daniel Way stuff or whatnot. But it's a good one. I don't know. I go watch it.
I highly recommend it. I felt like this. I walked out well worth my money. Go see it in IMAX. IMAX was awesome. Also, if you go see it in IMAX, you get to see a sweet Batman v Superman trailer. It's huge and it's awesome, and I'm so damned excited about that movie. Anyways, sidebar. I thought this movie was incredible. I highly recommend it to a lot of people. I think it was fantastic. I feel like this is what we needed, a shift in superheroes. Just give us at least like one hard R. It's not to say like, okay, nerds are ruling the world now. We've grown up a little bit now over the past decade with superhero movies. We haven't really gotten that hard R superhero movie yet. This is one. I'm not saying that all superhero movies need this. This was the perfect superhero movie for that, but I wanted a shift. I wanted something that was different than the Avengers, different than Captain America. Let those kind of be, as Captain America and Avengers, they can be pretty serious, but this is super violent, over the top, insane, and that's what I wanted. I wanted that shift. I wanted that different perspective to it. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. Let us know in the comments below, what did you guys think of Deadpool? Did you go out and see it? Also, thank you guys so much for sitting down with us. These are the Imperius Arcs guys. Go check out their channel. I'm gonna link to some of their videos down below here, and also post a link to their channel in the description below. Go check them out. Like, share, and subscribe to their stuff. Find them on Twitter. You guys are at the Imperius Arcs.
Imperius Arcs. Yeah.
Go check that out. As always, if you guys want to keep this conversation going, head over to thesavestate.com. You can find all of our awesome content over there. We're on Twitter. We are at _SaveState. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching that video, guys. If you want to hear more from us, we've got an audio-only podcast called Random Encounter. It's all about video game culture and current events. You can find it over at thesavestate.com or on iTunes and Stitcher, soon to be on Google Play. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of really good guests and stuff, so if you want to go check that out, maybe even join us over there. Again, it's called Random Encounter on iTunes and Stitcher every Tuesday. Thanks.